All right, in this video, we're going to share some of the feedback that I'm getting from the absolute cleansing of the guts and the liver from a person who just did it last time. And I want to kind of share that and also share the paper about these actual stones that Johns Hopkins discovered inside the liver and kind of like break that down for the first time. So, just recently last month, Happy New Year, everybody. It's going to be coming up on the 20th. Today's the 29th. New Year's coming up in a few days. This is Gavin Mehl. So ultimately, this month on the new moon, last new moon, I did the liver flush again for like the, 60 plus time. And another friend had done it with, had done it. I mean, a lot of other people had done it at the same time, but one specifically, a person did it. And I shared some of the stones that were produced, white crystallized stones coming out of the liver, just hardened, calcified stones. And, after she did that flush, she didn't really notice anything. Like she just like felt okay. But since then, it's been about 2 weeks, 2.5, 3 weeks now. She's been like exhaustedly tired, like laying in bed and needs to like rest, she said. Constantly cannot, just basically completely exhausted. And what's actually happening is it's like this delayed, is these giant stones coming out of the body. It's like a mini surgery. And so like when they're being pulled out, the liver's like completely going into repair mode now and having to take a lot of energy to repair itself and restructure itself into getting back into the original position from where it was before. And with that, it's taking a lot of blood and a lot of focus, from the body into healing the liver over that period. And that's why, in this case, she's feeling tired. So a lot of other people, you may experience this after you do the liver flush, just like this massive amount of exhaustion. And it could be 2 to 3 weeks later. So don't be surprised. Now, let me share a paper here. This is a study that was done in 19. I think it was this was actually, 1976 to 1993, Johns Hopkins University. They had studied basically 54 patients over an 18-year period. And in this study, it was basically, they discovered that there was stones inside the liver. They labeled them intrahepatic gallstones. It's over a 20-year period. And these were on both the right and the left side of what they call the bile. I think it's called it's of the liver where the gallbladder comes in. And one of the things that was noticed here is he had 54 men, 54 years. So we had conclusions. A method, hold on here. Let's see. Yeah, so the presence of the stones were also frequently accessed by an ultrasound or completed tomographic scan. Some stones are listed in table 3 of 30 patients. 55% had stones in both the right and left intrahepatic ducts. Now, intrahepatic means inside the liver. 60 patients had only left-sided stones. 80 patients had 15% had right-sided stones. So 10 of these of 14 drainage of 1984. So let me go to the actual chart here. It says they actually did a surgical procedure on these people. Here's one of the graphs, apparently, of what they were able to identify somehow on this scan. Complete follow-up were obtained in the 54 patients through personal contact with living patients and medical records for those who were dead. Some people died after the surgery. Let's see how many people died. The need for further treatment of intrahepatic structures in the absence of stones was not considered to be a failure. Morbidity. So these stones were on the right and left duct. It's a common hepatic duct, which goes into the common bile duct, and the gallbladder, which joins there into the small intestine. Intrahepatic means the stones located inside the liver. They're hard to access with surgery, almost impossible. More difficult to even remove completely and require special techniques like transhepatic stents. So these are from the bile. What it says in the study here is that on the right duct, it drains from the right side of the liver and it collects bile from the right anterior and the right postrum segments. Here's more pictures from this treatment here. And the left hepatic duct, it drains bile from the left side of the liver, collects bile from the left lateral side and the left medial segments, how they're connected. Okay, so 3 of the 7 patients died, but not freely due to the stones. Complete stone clearance was achieved in the remaining 51 patients, 94%. So they did surgical procedures on these patients, and they were able to remove the stones from their, what they call the left and right. They call the left and right hepatic duct. Right hepatic duct, left hepatic duct. Common bile duct. So in the remaining patients, surgery is used to treat binary disease for stone removal. Yeah, so this is the actual study that was done over these 20-year period with all these people that had these stones. I mean, there are still people out there who are, I guess, trolls or whatever. They don't read, and so if you don't read like things like this, or you'll just believe some BS. So, and they believe that these stones are from olive oil, and that's some sort of a, I guess that would be a conspiracy theory that the stones are made from olive oil. I guess that's what that's even called, a conspiracy theory. So, well, I don't even know what a conspiracy theory even is, but ultimately, these stones are called intrahepatic gallstones. This is a human clinical trial. This was done with 20 years. This is called the transhepatic team approach, intrahepatic stones. This is actually done by Johns Hopkins medical institutions with a total of 54 patients over 20 years. So this is a real medicine that was done and published in journals, showing that these stones exist inside the liver and where they exist. And then they use this surgical procedure to get them out. So this is a way that it's been treated in the past, could be treated. Really hard to get them out of the liver, they say. Now, I also have a book here, well, a book, but I mean, there's a book. This is probably one of the most amazing books ever written on health. I haven't really mentioned it. I don't know if I mentioned it before or not, but this is called Timeless Secrets of Health and Rejuvenation. It's the breakthrough medicine of the 21st century. So this is a 485 page book. And inside of here, you could search words like that, like intrahepatic. And then you could see what the author's talking about. It's a long book, so you're not going to probably read the whole thing, but you search for when your liver bile ducts become obstructed. The most common but rarely recognized health problem today is blockage of the liver bile ducts through gallstones. Here's the bile ducts right there. It's a really good picture. See that? All these bile ducts get clogged up. And then the gallstones start forming in the gallbladder. Pancreas duct. Really, really good little diagram there. And all these are stones in there. You imagine having giant white stones? I mean, let me just give you kind of a glimpse at. Yeah, so just to kind of give a little perspective here, these are the stones that were coming out. These are the white calcified stones. There's a lot of small green stones as well, but those are the larger ones. Now you see kind of the smaller ones. But then, can you imagine what this would do to your body when this comes out? When this is actually starting to come out, look at the size, like a person's finger here. Okay, that's a person's end of their finger. And then that right there would be the size of like a quarter. Now, going back into look at this. Think about the liver, okay? And there's the size of the liver itself, and these giant things coming out, which are going to be trapped in the bile ducts in here, clogging up the production, clogging up the blood, the ability of the liver to do its work. And ultimately, what's happening is clogging up the ability of the blood, of the body's ability to filter the blood and get oxygen down to the cell level. That's what's happening. And the liver is so amazing, it's so miraculous that it, by just a miracle of that it's able to function, and you don't even notice, and you just get a little bit tired. But what's actually happening is the body's unable to pump oxygen all the way down to the cellular level inside because of the clog of the congestion there. And then so by taking it out, like with what happened here, she removed those. Now 2 weeks later, she's exhausted. Like, for whatever reason, it took 2 weeks time for the body to then go into this absolute terminal exhaustion. Not terminal, but just incredible exhaustion. For whatever reason, it was delayed. I don't know why, but it's the first time she did it. Now, in my case, when I did it, it was like immediate. Like the next day, I was tired. I knew I was tired. I had to rest. I knew it. Like, so mine wasn't delayed. But for whatever reason, so be mindful when a major like operation like that happens on the body and those things are coming out, you're gonna be tired. Think if you went in for the surgery there with Johns Hopkins University, the same thing would happen. So I will see if there's a way. I don't know if I can post that link or not in this chat video. I'll see if I can. Either way, I just wanted to post it, and that's the book, Timeless Secret of Health and Rejuvenation. That's where those pictures are from. Just a little plug here. I may be doing a retreat. Like I may do a health / Bitcoin, health / freaking, I don't want to say Bitcoin, whatever, Bitcoin retreat in May. I may do that coming up, like an insiders thing, and piggyback on this other conference. So I'm just throwing the idea out there right now. I may do that. Like it could be badass. And so, we'll see if it works out, if I want to put the energy into it or not. But, it may be something cool to do, like an annual thing, and like everybody come out who are interested in health. And ultimately what I'm seeing with the liver flush is it's sure, once you get the hang of it, it's fine. It's fine. It's okay. And you've done it 10 or 15 times. But that very first time is, dude, it's so easy to screw it up and do it wrong and be in a very dangerously bad health situation. I've noticed that with this person. I'm not going to name her name. So ultimately with her, I've noticed that it's easy to not mess up, but it's easy to get yourself into a situation where you are just not familiar with the process. And then you could be in pain, or you could be, not cleaned out. So having people around you to support that. Now, I did have a phone call today with Dr. Igor, who I did a show with a while back. He's like all into breath work. He does body work. Dude, the guy's amazing master doctor, healer, Vietnamese, and also, white coat style doctor. So if I did a retreat, it would be with somebody like that. And I'd bring in like my buddy Juan from the water store, who I talked to recently. I'd bring in like freaking masters, if I did, and we'd make it something just freaking huge. So anyways, I just wanted to plug that on you. If you guys haven't already done the liver flush, just a little research, and make sure that you're aware that this is an actual human clinical trial. This is not some BS conspiracy about olive oil. Don't believe the hype and the trolls. So that's all. Hit the ones. All right. Get cleansed for 2026. New moon is going to be the next big cleanse. I think that's going to be right around mid-January, mid to like 17th, or right around that period. So if you're going to be doing it, prepare for that, plan ahead, and get the liver flush. Start planning it ahead. That means setting it on the calendar, setting your freaking colonics before and after, getting the malic acid, getting the olive oil, getting the fruit, either the grapefruits or the lemons, and, just kind of planning it on the calendar so you have a day. It doesn't have to be on the new moon. It could be before, or I think it could be, before the new moon, just not around the full moon. is the key. So you could just kind of plan a few days apart. If it's a day you have off, you plan it around that. You just got to make sure you have the 7-day prep up with the malic acid, and then have the colonics scheduled before and after. That's the main thing, So you plan ahead, it's going to happen. And then you get on the cycle every single month. Boom, 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 every month. And you just don't stop until you're freaking completely cleaned out. That's it. At the ones, I will see you at the top later.